Morning, everyone. Today is Friday, the 2nd of December. Today is non-farm payroll Friday. If you don't know what that is, NFP is the jobs data report that comes out every month for the US. This is a good little indication of what to expect in the labor market. We know the labor market makes up one half of the Fed's dual mandate. The Federal Reserve in America have a dual mandate, and one is maximum employment, second being price stability, which is inflation. Now, if you don't know what a Federal Reserve blackout is, we had it in November. That's why November was pretty shit, if I'm honest. I feed off of, and I'm being completely transparent, as I have shifted my sort of approach to trading the narrative every day. I feed off the narrative. I feed off something that's happening. And there being a Federal Reserve blackout is simply no Federal Reserve speakers publicly speaking on policy. So we know we have Fed Bullard, Mester, that are always speaking Kashkari, always adding their 2 cents, and that is market moving. More often than not, that usually runs in line with Fed Powell's sort of statement and tonality. So that gives us trades all the time. Why? They market moving. Whether we like it or not, it happens. So for me, in the next 2 weeks, knowing that, just to briefly run through this again, and I want everyone on the same page. I think we only need 3 trades. Honestly, going into next week, I would say 2. My last trading week, 1. That's all I need. And that's all you need too. So let's work together and try and get that. So the Fed's next interest rate meeting is on the 14th. Looking at dollar, looking at what's going on, looking at 10-year yield, something I was speaking about in the Discord. Right, looking at the 10-year yield. 10-year yield is a clear representation of Fed tonality, Fed sort of optimism versus pessimism. We know at this recent meeting, there was a lot of pessimism. We know there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of, I wouldn't say uncertainty. There was more so addressing the point that inflation has slowed down, that the Fed needs to slow down too, right? I don't care what trader you are. I don't care who you are. I don't know if anyone follows Santiago Capital on Twitter. Fucking great page, right? 200 and something thousand followers, but he manages, I think, like 170 million, right? If you look them up, they are registered LLC in the US, big hedge fund, right? Well, not super big, but it's a big family office to be managing that amount of money. Like that for me is the pinnacle of any little family office. Family office being a small operation, i.e. what I'm looking at doing in the next, let's say 3 to 5 years. Pretty much small group of individuals managing funds. These guys are still dollar bulls, like adamantly dollar bulls. They still believe in a dollar higher scenario. They have been dollar bulls, and I look to them for advice. I look to them for opinions. I think it is important that, you know, you're coming to me for an opinion. It is only fair and non-biased that I too look for an opinion and a bias to generate pretty much what I'm sharing and how I'm trading. Thing is, if you're in a cocoon, it's not good either, right? It's really not good either. So always broaden your horizon, right? Meaning, if you want to be trading the narrative, which is something that I highly recommend, you know, you are going to get those trades that you're going to get right. You're going to get those trades wrong. But at the same time, we want to acknowledge when something's changed. I personally am not going to sit there and say that, you know, I'm going to be buying 10-year yield anytime soon. I'd only look to buy this at 3%, which means I'd be buying dollar a lot lower. Now, also, you know, with that being said, looking at this on the 2 hour, I mentioned in the Discord, your whole objective should be to sell the rallies in this. Let's get this on one side. And let's get dollar yen on the other. Dollar yen, as much as I wanted it to pop up, why? I am, or I was, an advocate of a higher. Let's delete this tile. Haven't used it in a while. I was an advocate of a firm Fed. We didn't have that. However, if you put these two on a tile, you can see that they are pretty much exactly the same. They are, I think, I don't want to lie to you, about 92% correlated. 10-year yield and Japanese yen. Why? They have something called an interest rate differential, meaning the Fed's interest rate is a lot higher than the Bank of Japan's and the MOF, right? The Ministry of Finance in Japan. If Fed Chair Powell slowly unwinds his optimism, you're going to have an unwinding in the move, as we've discussed several times, several news events, several moves in the markets. You're going to have that unwind. So looking at this, my whole objective is I had a markup on dollar CAD, not dollar CAD, CAD yen, ideally back into 103. I missed that. I don't know if anyone took euro yen from when we spoke about. Honestly, what a fucking trade. I'm a bit pissed off that I didn't take this retest. Because clear as day, right? Clear as day. We knew that was going to happen. 144.50 was a key area of interest. Please write this stuff down. Right, write this down. Make a playbook for yourself. Make a journal for yourself on why these things are happening. Pretty much looking at euro yen, that's I'd say 370 pip trade that I've missed out on. Pretty annoying, because that could have been me done. Right, that could have been me done. But we learn, we keep moving, and we identify what we can obviously take advantage of. So pound yen, euro yen, everything's sliding. I do favor pound yen out of the lot because pound yen hasn't cleared the lows. I'd like to tell you something about correlation. When you are using correlated pairs, and I'm going to add some lessons. I've noticed I've slacked on this behalf. I have this educational tab that I've been meaning to fill, and honestly I've completely forgot. So I'm going to start filling this up. Please stay tuned in. Yeah, screenshot the stuff. Right, screenshot it, learn from it, add it to your own little Google document if you want, journal for yourself. But that being said, whenever you trade in correlation, if your leading correlating pair has broken a high and a low, you're going to have that follow through in your other pairs. Dollar yen, broken every low. As much as I wanted to pop up higher to 144, I know we mentioned that, or short from there, we didn't get it. It is what it is, right? Dollar yen has broken the lows. Euro yen, broken the lows. CAD yen, broken the lows. Aussie yen, broken the lows. You look at pound yen is still quite firm. And has not broken the lows. That's your trade. Not to go and sell now, right? Not to go sell now. But what has happened? What has happened this morning or yesterday? No, Gurdrop, you took that trade. I saw in the Discord, very good. I'd continue to sell these rallies. And that's hopefully what I'm looking to do today. If we were to see, I'd say 164.80 or 165, ideally it's better risk reward. I'm happy to take those positions. Now, looking overall at pound yen, we broke two previous highs. It's a beautiful little fib. We just came shy of the target. I thought we hit it. Just shy of the target. This means there is opportunity, right? There really is. Scenario number one for me on pound yen today. Anywhere into this level of support, I want to be notified, right? I want to be notified. Second scenario, leading into next week, I would like a higher correction into, I'd say, 165.80. So we're going to go ahead and add an alert there. Just delete that. All this tells me is that I'm ready to short the rallies based on the current narrative, which, with all due respect, is not going to change because we have a 2-week blackout period ahead of the Fed's next meeting. Fed's next meeting is only on the 14th, where I personally plan on calling it a year around there, right? 2 weeks into December. So I'm more than likely not going to capitalize on anything thereafter, which is fine by me as well. So pound yen, please do add these alerts on. My first area of interest is 164.80. Second area of interest is 165.90. That's for next week. If we do miss today's, then I want a higher risk reward once pound yen gets there, which it more than likely should, because we do have a general firm pound across the board. If you go ahead and look at cable's through the roof, right? Cable is through the roof. Yeah, by the corrections on cable as well. But for me, dollar yen is leading the yen pairs. You've got dollar CAD still a bit of a nightmare at this level of support. I wouldn't even bother trading it right now, in all fairness. But I would like a bit of a pop-up higher. So please write some note on a piece of paper, on your phone. I am looking at trading these 3 positions right into the next 2 weeks. So dollar CAD into 135. I'd like to short pound yen, ideally from 165.80 next week. Right. Then I'm also looking at the Aussie. I favor, the Aussie possibly from 72.20. If I'm going to be trading the current narrative, I've got to close my eyes and forget about what I want to happen and trade what is actually in front of me. This is something that I talk about all the time, and I'm afraid it is something that I too tend to forget. I too tend to look at sometimes too much at where I want something to go, more importantly of where it actually is. The fact that the Aussie has broken a higher, and rumors are circulating again that China want to reopen. So, we were short over here. We managed to bank 40 or 50 pips. If anyone remembers this short position, I was an adamant dollar bull. I was an adamant risk off. I was trading the risk off narrative at the time. I was pretty adamant with that. We banked 40 pips, rolled our stops, we got hit. Fine. But also, looking at it overall, we've broken prior highs. Price is bullish. Should we in any way, shape, or form think that with the current narrative, we shouldn't jump into things? We have to, right? We have to. And yeah, you look, times are tough. Times are tough. Things are getting expensive. Let me be that trader that will just tell you that it's okay to make an extra 100 or 200 a month. You don't have to be making thousands. If you can, in any way, shape, or form, improve or better your way of living slightly, that's already a plus. It's already a box ticked, right? So for the Aussie, my trade number 3, ideally, I just want these 3 trades. Scenario 1, very similar to pound yen. If we were to get a correction into this key area of interest, being area number 1, area number 2, but I favor area number 2, obviously, it just simply goes with the whole methodology of buying low, selling high. So Aussie and please write this down, Aussie, and I'll drop it in the Discord also, 67.20. Pound yen, ideally 65.80, and then dollar CAD at 135. So yeah, that's what I'm focused on. I am going to be using this Fed blackout as a trend continuation scenario. Any little rally on dollar CAD, we're good to short. Any rally on pound yen, we get to short based on the 10-year yield, based on dollar yen. Euro yen, short it. Any little rally you get, CAD yen, sell it. And then the Aussie I don't know what to believe out of China. Honestly, I don't. So Aussie might be a touch and go scenario for me. If we get to that price, I'll review. If there is, risk off because of Chinese bullshit, right? Excuse my French. I might not buy immediately. I might let the washout occur, which we saw this week perfectly with dollar at the start of the week, right? Let the washout occur in that frame. Every trade that you're trading is a frame. Try and keep that in mind. Every frame is a scenario. Every scenario is a narrative at that time. Things are changing. Trading is never going to be a static thing. It's constantly changing. We have to adapt. So that's dollar CAD. And then looking at NFP today, Aussie obviously, as I've just said, those are my three scenarios. Ideally, I would like, for me today, a strong dollar, which will push Aussie into position for next week, dollar CAD into position for next week, pound yen into position for next week with a strong dollar. Why will a strong dollar push pound yen? Because dollar yen should have a lift, yields should have a brief lift. However, on the other hand, we know the expectation is slightly lower. This simply means 261,000 jobs were added last month, right? For the month of November, 200,000 jobs are expected to have been added. So it's lagging. Majority of the data you see on economic calendars are lagging. Inflation, lagging, right? So you want to use that to then your advantage. Average hourly earnings expected less. This simply shows us the concern of the labor market. We know we've had very big companies like Apple, Amazon declare, they can't keep hiring people. They got to let people go. So we are heading into uncertain times. We know the housing market is under extreme pressure because of interest rates, be that in the UK, be that in the US. It's a global problem because interest rates are higher. Mortgages are higher. Everything's expensive. So use this time wisely, right? From one trader to another. I watched a Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Please do excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the gentleman that wrote that. About 20 years ago, he wrote that book. I watched a YouTube video of him speaking about the next recession. And he calls it a possible global depression because the inflation narrative that we have now will push economies into a recession that unfortunately third world countries will not get out of because of the interest rate differential between America and those countries. Why does that matter? That matters because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. Despite dollar having a brief fall right now, it is still at 104. It was at 93 last year. Put things into perspective. Massive, still overpriced, right? In terms of third world countries needing to pay everything in dollars. So, we need to think about what that means for the global economy, what that means in the long-term picture for the housing markets. We know the China housing market is on stilts at the moment. It's not looking great. The UK housing market, 26% of houses in the UK are variable rate, subject to change, which means mortgages will go up, which means should someone's mortgage go up and they can't afford that mortgage, they'll have to sell their house, but no one's buying because interest rates are too high. We have a general problem here on our hands, and it's not looking great. I'll share the YouTube video in the Discord from Robert Kiyosaki I think about 12, 15 minutes. Great YouTube video, right? And it's his view on silver. We had a nice little pop-up on silver yesterday that I was looking at. And overall, if you just realize that silver is undervalued, right? Silver as a commodity, long-term, I'm talking 5-10 years. I mentioned this when I used to do my in-person stuff, that we could see silver at $100. It's, 20 odd now. I think it's 28. Let's take a look. 22.8. And, if you were to see silver at 100 in the next 10 years, an average silver Britannia, if you go, let me show you, there is a website, and I want everyone to start putting money towards this stuff. There is a website here in the UK. I'm pretty sure it's international, so you can buy wherever you are. I'd like you, and look at this, Britannia is already 31, was 22 last year. I bought a couple, not many, should have bought more, but that's the whole should have, could have, would have, right? We are where we are right now. We've got to use what we can to our advantage. If every single month you can spare £30, €30, $30, buy a silver Britannia, a silver coin. It is a real silver coin. It does hold value. If you refresh this website, the price is constantly tickering. It's constantly going, right? Yeah, $26.50 you can buy a silver Britannia. You don't have to go fancy with a box and all that bullshit because it's wasting money. For the price of buying the box, you can buy 2 coins. What I'm saying this for is it's a 1 ounce silver coin, right? $26 in your bank ain't gonna do shit for you. 26 pounds. You're not gonna get no money from the bank. The bank's making money on your money. So, especially for my little nieces and nephews, I want to start buying these, packing it away for them. Something that, in 20 years' time, I can gift it to them at their weddings or something. Here's a box of coins. They might think I'm the crazy uncle, but in 50 years they might thank me. So, think about these things. You don't have to, Warren Buffett. I'm not saying we're all going to be the next Warren Buffett, but he once said that if every single person had, one of those clip cards, those punch cards, like you have 10 punches and then you get like a free ice cream or some shit. I don't know if they've done that in the UK, but when I grew up back home, they used to do that. He said if every single person had a punch card, and that was the amount of investments they could make in their entire life, everyone would be rich. Because you're going to think pretty damn hard about that fucking next investment, because you can't just go ahead. Excuse me. You can't go ahead and put money into everything, because you can't, right? You got to think and handpick what you're going to be putting your money into. And that goes to my next little point from this. And what I'm trying to get at is you can't, in my opinion, keep putting money into funded challenges because you want to be the next best funded trader. Is that part of your little scratch ticket, on how many investments you're going to do in your life? Are you going to spend, everyone says, excuse me, it sounds like I'm dying, but I'm not, I promise. Everyone says, it's only 500. Oh yeah, it's only 300. I'm going to have a go. But if you do it 10 times in a couple of months, it adds up, right? It adds up. So it's not a valid response to your money. It isn't, and as much as I want to keep this funded chat going, I created this to share some tips and tricks, and I'm really going to, because I feel you can utilize it, but I also don't want it to turn into an addiction, because I know for a lot of people it has. And a lot of people turn to me with that concern that, they have led into an addiction. And if you think of your scratch card or your punch ticket on your investments, throwing money at a challenge that has tight restrictions on you becoming a trader because they're promising you a big payout, is like, there's no logical sense long term on what that can do for you. So from one trader to another, get your shit right, focus on building a track record. Honestly, if you show me a track record on £1,000 and you show me you can keep that £1,000 for 6 months and you've managed to make 3 to 5% per month, we can talk. I know a lot of people. Right? I know a lot of people. And where I'm going down on my road, I'm not going to be the only trader. Fuck that. Do you think I want to be trading every single day for the rest of my life? No. Do I want a family office of 10 hardcore motherfuckers that go at it together, trading a large pot? Yes. Right? That's the dream. You want to go away for a month with your family? Go for it, mate. We got this covered. Right? And to become a trader like that does take years. I've really worked hard at what I've done, and I'm in the position of setting small things up for myself in the near future with this small group of individuals, that I'm already almost ready to go with. And the ball's rolling on things like that, but it didn't come from small addictions that I'm just going to throw money at because it didn't make me a better trader. And I'm not going to sit there and sound like I'm perfect. I used to have that addiction with small accounts, and that's the truth. But it would be the same fucking thing, right? Whether you're throwing 500 into a challenge, whether I used to throw 500 into an account and try and flip it to 5K, it's the exact same fucking thing, right? Same thing, same addiction, same rabbit hole. Does it make you a better trader? No. Does it fuck with your psychology? Yes. Right? Yes. So from one trader to another, please focus on your track record, because that's your report card. If you went, if you started school and you wanted to get into the greatest university in your area or whatever, you needed a great report card, right? My report card was shit because I never used to study and I still used to get good grades. But if you put things into perspective in life, it's the same thing. In trading, it's the same thing. If you want that good track record, you got to work really hard for it. It's not going to be a case of, keep throwing money into a funded challenge because I'm going to get that payout and I'll make my money back. No one's going to have a meeting with you across a boardroom table about your strategy that you believe can be replicated on larger funds. No one's going to believe it. So focus on that. When someone once told me that, the next day I was on it. I honestly was, because I was like, okay, my future needs me right now to be that disciplined motherfucker that doesn't break his rules, that focuses on his report card, because that's the only way that you can have a seat at that table. No one's going to listen to you if you've tried funded challenges 60 times just to get that one payout that will make you your money back, right? It is good, right, for you to have these experiences, for you to go down those rabbit holes, but you've got to learn from it, please, right? Please, just so that I know that I've done good, with these calls, and I know I have. I know I really have. So, stay focused, right? Stay focused. It's been a hell of a year. We've come out of a fucking pandemic. Then you got a war in Ukraine, and then you got COVID zero policy in China. Joe Biden can't even speak English, can't even read. It's really been tough to trade. So don't take it personally. You got FTX. Fucking where on earth, man? Like it's been a tough year. So, don't take anything personal. I was watching I think it was the New York Post interviewed him yesterday via Zoom. This guy honestly has no shame in what he says. And I think that to myself, he's sitting there with a smile on his face and he's lost billions. He must have a few ledgers lying around somewhere with a few million on it, so he's fine for the rest of his life, right? Come on. No one's that stupid. I'm pretty sure, right? Let's be honest. He's living in the Bahamas. He can register a name under some other person, register a bank account, put some money in there. If anything happens to him, he's got that money, right? So don't feel sorry for the guy. But at the same time, it's just a lesson that Alameda Research was working with billions, and the CEO of Alameda Research, that's SPF's girlfriend, admittedly opened it and admittedly said that they don't use stop losses and they were margin trading cryptos. They were buying coins and the fucking market crashed with margin. I've done that too, but not with billions. And it's very scary, but we need to utilize people's lessons, utilize my lessons, right? Learn from it, please. But to briefly round up today's session, just to reiterate, I'm looking to sell dollar CAD from 135. I'm looking to buy Aussie dollar from 67.20, and I'm looking to sell pound yen from 65.80. Those are my three trades that I'd like to get involved in. And if we have a Bitcoin rally into this level, let's say 18K, I'm looking to short Bitcoin. I'd ideally like all my positions closed before the 20th if I have to carry a position, but I physically want to stop entering positions. Has anyone ever been in a position, I know I have, where you've gone into a close only mode? I traded something in the past, as I have said before, where I couldn't hold my positions overnight. I've shared that story. But that also would restrict me sometimes going into a close only. So I couldn't enter. I could only close what I had, which is such a good little mental thing. So if over the next 3 weeks, I get these 3 trades, so a Sean pound yen, it's got a lower time frame, a Sean pound yen, a Sean dollar CAD, long on the Aussie, from here, I will try and go into a close only mode to lock in my gains. I do not want to give any of that money back, because then I'm going to be pissed off and I'm going to want to trade again before Christmas, and then it's going to ruin my energy. Your energy is everything. I work every day on my energy. Before this call, I had my little JBL speaker here, full blast, playing that song that I put in the Discord. Get my energy right. Once you get your energy right, nothing can touch you. A bad day can't ruin you. A bad trade can't affect you. Work on your energy. Work on the trader that you want to be in 3 to 5 years, because I promise you, from one trader to another, the first 2 years are the hardest, because you go down those addictions. I've been there, right? I've been there. I've come out the other side because I've really worked on myself, and it's been hard. It really has. But I'm going to end this call. Yeah, it is Friday. I really want to just share some light on the experiences, but I'll get to that as we progress with the group and the channel. But as I have said before, if you want to add some stuff to the Discord, share it, right? I'm no better than you. We are all traders here. I am trying to create an environment where, it really helps you. So if you feel there's a channel that you want, if there's stuff you want from me, tell me. I'll add it. I'm still trying to figure out the confessions tab, but I promise I'm going to work on that this weekend. If this girl I'm seeing is going to Colombia on the 5th, so I have free time then. So yeah, as and when I have some time, that will be done. That will be done. I think I too am going to use that confessions lounge, because I got some shit to get off my chest too. So if you see any big numbers, you know who wrote them. But yeah, from one trader to another, have a great Friday. Mark up those 3 trades, chill, don't chase the market, let the market come to you, right? And we got this, right? We got this. Keep your energy right, okay? Keep that energy flowing. If you have your energy high, nothing can touch you, right? Nothing can touch you. And remember that little candle, light a small candle, because even the smallest candle can light up the darkest room, and let that be a reminder for you inside to keep that energy alive, because you keep that energy alive, no matter what shit is going on in your life, if you got that right energy, you're going to be fine. But from one trader to another, have a good day. Stay tuned in the Discord, and I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.